Hey folks, Crazy Climber 80 here again, and we're going to look at game number 8 in our 20 from the Intellivision series, and this is an early example of what's called a dungeon crawler, in which you explore a dungeon in a 3D first-person perspective, and this is part of the Dungeons & Dragons series, and this is called Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Treasure of Tarmin, created in 1983 by Mattel, APH Technological Consulting, and Tom Loughry, with assistance from TSR Hobbies. But this is a complex game. There is so much to do. With the overlay, you can pick up or drop items, swap your hands where you hold items. You can rotate your pack that you use to collect items. You can check the map. You can open doors. You can use an item. You can attack. You can rest. You can use a ladder. You can look left and look right around corners to, look for enemies that you can avoid, or you can retreat and advance. You can also count the food that you have. You can count the arrows that you have. Now this is the map screen. You can press the top side buttons to go to the map screen. And this is the medium level of difficulty. And if you press 1 at the title screen, you'll get this with 8 floors. If you press 2, you'll go to the easy level with 4 floors. And there's can be multiple floors or areas on one floor. And then this is the easiest. If you press 3, you'll only have 2 floors to deal with. And notice that there is a symbol at the bottom floor. That is the treasure. And this is the hardest of all. If you press 4 at the title screen, you will have 12 floors to deal with. But you can deal with a whole lot more floors than that if you want, up to like 256 floors or something if you want. You can go lower than the floors that you see there. But the room or the floor where the treasure is at, it will be protected by a really tough minotaur. And you'll need to destroy him to collect the treasure. But if you do collect the treasure, you will beat the game. And you don't have to collect the treasure. You can just keep going to lower floors and fight more and more monsters. And the more monsters you fight, the more experience you get, and you can increase your hit points. Now here's a dungeon screen. You see the N on the far left, that's your direction north. And around that, you can store items you pick up. And you can rotate them around with the number 3 button. Rotate your pack. And you'll see a bow in my left hand and a shield in my right hand. And you can swap hands by pressing 2. And you can swap pack and put those items in the pack with button number 6. And that 1 in the middle indicates the floor I'm on. It can also indicate the energy remaining of an enemy I fight. But on the far right, you will see a column on the left side and a column on the right side. On the left side is your war strength, and on the right is the spiritual strength. If either the top left or the top right numbers dwindle down to 0, you are dead. Now, the second row is the strength of your armor for either war or spiritual armor. And at the bottom, that's your weapon strength for war weapon or spiritual weapon. It's kind of complicated, actually very complicated, but we'll get more into it as we go along. I'm going to play the easiest setting, which is number 3, and that only makes me have to play 2 floors, although of course you can continue to play other floors by descending more ladders. But on the map, it looks like the dungeons are rectangular shaped for each floor. Don't believe that. They're actually square. They're like a 12 by 12 giant grid. And there will be various rooms you can enter by pressing the door button, which is button number, well, it'll be an open button, and that's number 4. And you can go into doors that way. And you start by seeing the map here. And the perimeter of each dungeon floor will be free of monsters. You can roam around the perimeter freely without worry of running into a monster. Okay, let's get started. Now, in the perimeter area, you will see a little indication on the floor that tells you that there's a door nearby. Sometimes the door is in plain sight, and sometimes it is hidden. And I will rotate my viewpoint to face the hidden door. And whether it's hidden or not, you press the 4 button to open. And here is an item here, and this is, I think this is food. It might be, at any rate. But you press the 1 button to pick up an item. Or if you're carrying an item in your right hand, and I'm carrying my my arrows, you will drop that item and pick up the other item. But I moved the arrows to my pack, and then I took it out of my pack and put it back in my right hand. But you can use a certain button to check how much food you have left, items of food you have left, or how many arrows you have left. And there is another item I can pick up. That is actually a weapon. Now, as I said before, if you run out of your hit points on either the war HP or spiritual HP, you will die. And there's my first enemy. There is a ghost. It's either a ghost or a ghoul or something like that. There's various enemies you can find in the dungeons. There's skeletons, giants, giant ants, dwarves, giant scorpions, dragons, ghouls, wraiths, minotaurs, alligators, giant snakes, and there's also door monsters. And sometimes in certain treasure chests you open, there can be bombs that can hurt you. And note that I now have an axe as one of the weapons I can use. Almost all the weapons are singular use only, except for your arrows. You can use those as much as you want, but those are generally pretty weak. You will find that there are different colors to the weapons. And there's a skeleton I just killed. But yeah, the various colors indicate the strength of the weapon, and there is also armor you can pick up. And there is both war armor and spiritual armor. There's so much to this game, I can't nearly cover it with one video. I'm sorry, you'll have to pick it up sometime and figure it out for yourself. But it's really deep. It's interesting, but can be very frustrating, and it can be easy to get lost sometimes. But yeah, your main goal is to find out where that minotaur is, and you'll know which floor he's on because you'll see the treasure on the map if you select the map. And that thing that I just picked up, I think, is a money belt. And you can get various treasures to add to your score. And yes, you have a score. And when you get to beat the Minotaur and take his treasure, which you don't have to do, you can just keep descending into dungeons and kill more and more enemies and get your hit points raised. But if you do decide to collect the treasure and end the game, you will have a score based on how well you did. All the different things you collected, all the enemies you've beaten, that factors into your score. You have a glance left and glance right button. You can peek to your left or peek to your right to see if there's an enemy there, and they won't attack you when you're glancing at them like that. You have a retreat and advance button, and that's 0. And if you have your energy, your HP drop down to 0, and note that I just raised what was it, weapon strength by picking up a better weapon. But if you run out of HP in war or spiritual, you might not die. If you did fairly well up to that point, you might survive. You're just pushed back a ways in that dungeon that you were in. To descend to lower dungeons, look for a ladder, and that ladder will go down, and you press 9, the 9 key, to climb down the ladder to the lower dungeon. And like I said before, and I'm back to the perimeter area, and there's a pouch. You can open the pouch with the 4 button and find out what's in it. And I'm not sure what that is. A lot of this stuff, I don't know what it is. But you can rotate your pack around with the 3 key, rotate the items, and the one on the far right will be the one that you can swap into your right hand and be able to use. You can only use the weapons when you see an enemy, when you go right up to an enemy. And you might be able to get the first shot in if you're quick. Otherwise, the enemy will get the first shot in. On the easier dungeons like this one, or easier settings, you can often get the first lick in. The enemy might let you take a turn. It might just sit there and not attack you. And there I descended down to floor number 2, or dungeon number 2. And here somewhere is the Minotaur. And like I said, if you did pretty well up to this point, and he kills you, you might not die, but you will be pushed back a ways, and his energy will be restored. We will see me kill him. Relying just on your arrows, that's not going to kill him. You need to use your special weapons too. But yeah, sometimes there will be a hidden door, and you can press the open button when facing a wall, and it will open up. And you look for that little marker on the floor in the perimeter area, and if you don't see a door, there's going to be a hidden one. Yeah, that thing there, I've got 2 of them in my inventory. That is a special weapon you can use against the Minotaur, and there's a skeleton up there. Yeah, the skeleton's really easy at this point. And there's another one. But yeah, you will see the energy remaining for that enemy right where the 2 is. For right now, that number... Oh, there's the Minotaur. Right now, that number indicates what floor I'm on. The 2nd floor. The 2nd floor dungeon. We're gonna take a crack at the Minotaur. Again, if your top left or top right number dwindles down to 0, then you're dead. And I got pushed back. I got killed, but not killed. We're going to zoom forward to me actually beating him. But if you press the rest button, which is number 8, you can get energy restored. And you can find sacks of food. and you can use them to eat the food and regain some health that way. I'm not entirely sure how to do that. There's so much of this game I have not shown you. I don't know what to do. But, yeah, I'm on the easy difficulty, which he lets you attack. Ooh, that was a nice hit. Now I gotta switch back to my arrows. And yeah, he sits there and lets me rotate my stuff around and put stuff in my hand. And the tougher levels, the enemies don't let you do that. Alright, killed the minotaur. And there's the treasure of Tarmin. I can collect it and end the game. Or I can descend down further dungeons and keep facing enemies and bring my stats up. Get more points in the end. But no, I'll end it. Ta-da! I only got 70 measly points. But that's how you play Treasure of Tarmin. And again, I selected the easiest difficulty. There was only 2 dungeon floors. Well, that you need to explore. You can explore more. You can keep finding the ladder and going down to lower dungeon floors and face more enemies, more difficult enemies, and you might face more minotaurs too that way. I'm trying to remember what I was doing here, but I think I decided to die, so you can see what it's like to die. Ew. But we'll look at some other things you can pick up. There's a scroll. You can get like magic items to make fireballs and stuff. I think that's a scroll there. And there's a giant ant. And the enemies can be different colors, and that will indicate how tough they are. And there, I killed the giant ant. And there's another enemy. There's also like fireballs you could pick up, just all sorts of little weapons that'll be stronger than your arrows. That's what you want to pick up to be able to beat the minotaur. But a lot of these things, I'm not sure what they are. You'll need to play it yourself and make a note of what all these different things are. But that was Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Treasure of Tarmin, created in 1983 by Mattel, APH Technological Consulting, and Tom Loughry and TSR Hobbies. Well, this is Crazy Climber 80s, and thanks for watching Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Treasure of Tarmin, game number 8 in R20 from the Intellivision series. See you soon with game number 7. Have a good one, folks. Bye-bye.